Hello friends. So after completion of, you can say, bubble point and dew point calculations that for vapor liquid equilibrium, now we'll go further again. That is topic C in phase equilibrium. So under that, it is not necessary that only VLE is present, that is vapor liquid equilibrium, right? So there are many aspects, different phases are there. So you can say solid, liquid, gases. So we have seen this vapor liquid only, that is gas and liquid. Now if you go further, there might be liquid liquid again, liquid liquid, two liquid phases such as organic phase and aqueous phase, that forms a two layer, right? So that is, but both might be in equilibrium, because there might be some partial solubility of particular component in both the phases that might be there. So that forms two liquid phases and both are in equilibrium. So similarly, solid liquid equilibrium, that is also possible, because solid liquid equilibrium, if you see, so that will be one case, you can say leaching operation in mass transfer, right? Or second is, you can say, crystallization, so formation of crystal at equilibrium. So that is again, you can say, that is solid, and liquid is your mother liquor, what we have there. So that is what we have. So we can say solid liquid equilibrium, liquid liquid equilibrium, and one more aspect, that is vapor liquid liquid equilibrium. That means, so classical example for this is ethanol water system, right? So ethanol water forms a azotone, and in that generally many times different organic compounds are added, that is, you can say, benzene, right, as a entrainer. And if you use that, so that will, you can say, that benzene is immiscible with water, and that depends on, again, what is the concentration of ethanol in the system. So based on that, it will form a two phase system here. So that is, you can say, vapor is also there in azeotropic distillation column, and two liquid phases, that is organic and aqueous, right, water based. So we can say vapor and then two liquid phases, organic, aqueous. So that is, you can say, vapor liquid liquid equilibrium. All these three phases are in equilibrium. So these are the some topics that we are looking for in this particular session, right? So this and this, right? If you apply this for system, so you will have dq less than or equal to t ds, right? So this is quite a simple case here. So if you apply first law of thermodynamics here, and already we have studied that first law is dut, that is total internal energy change, that is equal to change in heat or change in plus change in work, right? And if you have a reversible system, that work is replaced by minus p dv t, superscript t here, that is total, right? So this is total here. So you will have this equation as dq is equal to this dut plus p dvt. So this is added here. Okay, then by substituting this part in this particular equation here, right? So you will have that S is that is S superscript T, that is total entropy change. So you will have dut plus pdv less than or equal to tds, right? And again, if you simplify this, that tds t you can take on left hand side. So you will have dut plus pdvt minus tds t, that is less than or equal to 0. So since this relation involves properties only, it must be satisfied for change in state for any closed system at uniform temperature and pressure. So without any restriction to the condition of mechanical and thermal reversibility assumed in this derivation, right? So here the inequality, this inequality is applicable for every incremental change of that system between non-equilibrium state, right? It indicates the direction of change that leads towards the equilibrium, right? No doubt, initially there is a non-equilibrium state, and if you keep this particular system for longer duration, so changes will take place, and that change will tend towards the equilibrium. Then the equality holds for change between the equilibrium state for reversible process that we have seen. That means if you replace this inequality by equal to sign, that is for reversible process, right? So the restricted version of this particular equation will be dut plus pdvt minus tdst less than or equal to 0. So this is nothing but dut at constant s and st and vt, that is less than or equal to 0. So if you keep entropy and volume constant, then this is simplified as this particular equation, where subscripts specify the property is held constant. That means here total volume is constant and total entropy is again constant. Similarly, for process that occurs at constant ut and vt, right, we have this particular case here. That means here ut, that means this, if you keep this constant, this will be equal to 0. Volume, if it is constant, this will be equal to 0. So then anyway here we have 0, so it is simplified as dst at constant internal energy, total internal energy and total volume, that is greater than or equal to 0, right? As again, if you go further, this isolated system is necessarily constrained to constant internal energy and volume. So this is the case of isolated system here. For such system, it follows directly from second law that last equation is valid. So this equation is valid for isolated system here. Isolated where mass transfer is not there, right? So volume will remain constant here, and second is no heat transfer, so internal energy will remain again same here. Again, if you go further, again we'll apply this particular equation. This equation here for constant temperature and pressure, you can write like this. Okay, so same equation is there. We are putting this in differential form. Already it is there, but differential of ut at constant temperature and pressure, differential of pv at constant temperature and pressure, and then minus d bracket tst at constant temperature and pressure. Because temperature is constant anyway, you can take out this temperature here. Here p is constant, so p can take any out. So similar equation can be that means derived after this. So it is same thing. So here everywhere differential is there, so I will take this differential out. So we'll have this simple equation so here, right? So now here this u plus pv, that can be replaced by ht, that is enthalpy term, right? And then ht minus td, ht minus tst, so that is again you can say Gibbs energy, right? So if you put this Gibbs energy here, so finally you will get this equation as, you can say dgt at constant temperature and pressure, which is less than or equal to 0. So this is for, you can say this is important criteria, and which has application here, right? Then if you see again, if you go further here, you can say for possible specialization. So this particular equation, this is the most useful, right? Because T and P, which are easily measured and controlled and are more logical to as constant than other pairs of variables such as ut and vt. This is very difficult to measure many times. Volume you can measure, but internal energy it is quite difficult. So you can say many times, so this will be, you can say, useful to have this particular equation, because temperature, pressure you can measure easily and you can continue this. So again, if you see this final equation, differential of gt at constant temperature and pressure less than or equal to 0, indicates that all reversible processes occurring at constant temperature and pressure proceeds in such a direction, right, as to cause a decrease in Gibbs energy. That means when any changes are taking place in irreversible process, always Gibbs energy change, that Gibbs energy gets decreased. So that's why change is negative here, right? So that's why it is less than or equal to 0 here. The equilibrium state of closed system is that state for which the total Gibbs energy is minimum, with respect to all possible changes at given temperature and pressure. Remember, this is very important aspect here. So here temperature and pressure is kept constant for given temperature and pressure condition, right? Gibbs energy is always minimum with respect to all possible changes, right? So this is the, you can say, equilibrium state of any closed system. So when you say equilibrium state of any closed system, you will find total Gibbs energy of that particular system is minimum here, right? Then and then only you can say this is equilibrium state, right? Otherwise, if it is not minimum, it will start again changing. That means this is not a equilibrium state. It will again continue to have some changes in the system. So once you get this minimum Gibbs energy, total Gibbs energy, this you can see a stable condition there, right? So this criteria of equilibrium provides general method for the determination of equilibrium state, right? And one writes an expression for GT as a function of number of moles, right, of species in several phases, right? That will be, we'll see this. Then finds a set of values for mole fractions that minimize GT subject to the constraint of mass conservation. So here you can change the number of moles and then you measure the total Gibbs energy, right? And then you can have a plot of total Gibbs energy versus number of moles, right? So that will be very important, you can say, plot, and from that it is possible to find out where Gibbs energy is minimum, total Gibbs energy is minimum, and for what number of moles, that also can be calculated. So this procedure can be applied to the problems of phase and chemical reaction or combined phase and chemical reaction equilibrium. So because phase equilibrium is very important aspect, also chemical reaction equilibrium, that is also important. So here you can apply this particular case, and it is the most useful for complex equilibrium problem and illustrated for chemical reaction. So again, if you continue this, at the equilibrium state, differential variation can occur in the system at constant temperature and pressure without producing any change in GT. This is again very important. This means you can say equality of this, so you can say dGT, right, at constant temperature and pressure. This equation you can take as, you can say, equality. So another form of this criteria is equilibrium, is you can say dGT at constant temperature and pressure equal to 0 here, right? So to apply this criteria, one develops an expression for dGT as a function of the mole numbers of species in various phases and sets equal to, you can say, 0, right? So the resulting equation along with those representing the conservation of mass provides working equations for the solution of equilibrium. So equation dGT at constant temperature and pressure less than or equal to 0 provides the criteria that must be satisfied by any single phase, right, that is stable, right? That is very important with respect to the alternatives that it split into two phases, right? So it requires Gibbs energy of an equilibrium state be minimum value with respect to all possible changes in given temperature and pressure, right? So a simple example, if you see, when there is a mixing of two liquids occurs at constant temperature and pressure, the total Gibbs energy must decrease because the mixed state must be one of lower Gibbs energy with respect to unmixed state. That means we have two liquids, and if you see the Gibbs energy, total Gibbs energy of mixture after mixing these two liquids, so that will be minimum compared to these two pure liquids initially present there, right? So these two liquid, that means total Gibbs energy of these two liquids separately, that will be higher than you can say mixture, total Gibbs energy of mixture. So as a result, if you see, total Gibbs energy is, you can say, Ng, that is less than summation of Ni Gi. So Gi is, you can say, Gibbs energy, total Gibbs energy of individual species I. Ni is number of moles of I species added in the system, and we have suppose 1, 2, 3, 4 components, right, or n number of components, so that those are mixed together. So that's why summation sign will be there, and Ng or this Gt, that is the total Gibbs energy in mixed condition, right? So this will lead to, you can say, if you divide by N, right, on both sides, so N from left side will be disappeared here, and here you will get Ni upon N, so this is nothing but Xi here. So simple equation you will get, and this term if you take on left hand side here again, so G minus summation of Xi Gi less than 0 at constant temperature and pressure. So what is this left hand side? This is nothing but your Gibbs energy. Here uh, these considerations lead to following criteria, right? At constant temperature and pressure, delta G and its first and second derivative must be a continuous function of x1, no doubt it will be, right? And second derivative must be everywhere be positive, right? So in this case, you can say d2 delta G by dx1 square greater than 0 at constant temperature and pressure. This is double derivative. That means this is your delta, right? So this is always positive, right? At constant temperature and pressure. So second derivative is always positive, right? Then you will get minimum, you can say, Gibbs energy, right? Where you will get better stability of the phases, right? And if you divide by RT here on both sides, no problem. 0 divided by RT, it is again 0. That RT is constant, so delta G divided by RT. So this simple equation is possible here. Okay. Then equilibrium stability, it continues there. We have this equation already. We have seen this equation in solution thermodynamics, right? So G equal to delta G minus RT summation of Xi ln Xi. Then it will be arranged as, you can say, for binary system, delta G upon RT, right? This is equal to, here you can RT, just we are dividing by RT everywhere, so RT from here it will get cancelled, so delta G by RT here and G by RT, so these are reflected here, right? And summation of Xi ln Xi, so it is x1 ln x1 plus x2 ln x2, so this will be here, right? So from which if you take first derivative of this, what will happen? First derivative here, it is d delta G divided by RT by dx1. So this is first derivative here, and here what is the derivative of this? That is x1 sorry, x1 into you can say derivative of ln x1, that is 1 upon x1, right? And so x1 upon x1, that will get cancelled here, so it is 1 will appear here, and second ln x1 into differentiation of x1 is 1 here, so this will appear here, x2 into differentiation of this ln x2, so that will be 1 upon x2 into dx2 upon dx1, right? Okay, so this is x2 here into dx2 upon dx1, right? So this is what we have. So in this case, this dx2 by dx1 is minus 1, which is reflected here. This minus sign is reflected here, right? And here 1 upon x2 is there, so this will get cancelled, so 1 minus 1, that's it. So that will get, so this is simple derivation derivatives you will get. And again if you differentiate this double derivative, this again differentiation we have, that will be here, its differentiation will be here, that is del 2 Ge by RT by dx1, and its differentiation will be 1 upon x1 minus 1 upon x2 into dx2 upon dx1, and if we apply this dx2 upon dx1 is equal to minus sign, so finally it will lead to this particular value. So to have a stability, you should have del 2 G by RT by dx1 square, that should be always greater than minus 1 upon x1 x2, because this is greater than 0. So if this is greater than 0, this is also greater than 0, right? So this only we have to take on another side. So This is the equation you will get at constant temperature and pressure. So again, if you use for binary mixture, we have seen G by RT is equal to summation of xi ln gamma I, and if you apply this for binary system, so this is what equation you are getting. So G by RT, that is equal to summation of xi ln xi. This already we have seen, right? So this is elaborated for binary system, and similar procedure what we have used in earlier case, so that should be applied here, and just have a differentiation, first derivative, second derivative, right? And finally you will get d ln gamma 1 upon dx1 as this is greater than minus 1 upon x1 at constant temperature and pressure. This is another criteria for you can say stability. So similarly you can have some more criteria, that is df1 cap upon dx1 greater than 0 and d mu 1 upon dx1 greater than 0. So this is also stability criteria. So you will get these three criteria here, right? So from this again, if you go further, liquid-liquid equilibrium, that is you can say important aspect what we have, right? So two liquid phases are in equilibrium. So it's an application you will find in mass transfer, that is liquid-liquid extraction, right? So there are many pairs of chemical species where they mix to form a single liquid phase in a certain composition rate, but not satisfy the stability criteria, right? Such systems therefore split into this composition range into two liquid phases that of different composition. Okay, if the phases are in thermodynamic equilibrium, the phenomena is example of liquid-liquid equilibrium here, which is important for industrial operations such as solvent extraction. Already we have seen, so solvent extraction, which is important mass transfer operation, so that we are using. So the equilibrium criteria for LLE are the same as for VLE, right? So equilibrium criteria already we have seen, chemical potential of ith phase in different ith component in different phases, that should be same at uniform temperature and pressure. So another criteria we have seen, that is fugacity coefficient, that is Fi cap, that should be same for given chemical species in both the phases. So for LLE of n species at uniform temperature and pressure, we will have Fi cap alpha is equal to Fi cap beta. This is the equilibrium criteria, phase equilibrium criteria. We have studied this in solution thermodynamics, right? Then we can define this term here, because already we have seen gamma I is equal to Fi cap divided by Fi cap ID, and Fi cap ID is nothing but, you can say, according to Lewis-Randall rule, Xi Fi, right? So that will be added. So this can be simplified as this equation, and Fi cap beta, that will be Xi beta gamma I beta Fi beta, right? So here pure species fugacities are there, that is Fi cap alpha, Fi cap beta. These are pure species fugacities, so which will be denoted as Fi. So that can be removed from both the sides. So Xi alpha gamma alpha is equal to Xi beta gamma beta for n number of components. So in this equation, activity coefficient gamma alpha and gamma beta derived from same function of G by RT. So this, they are functionally identical, distinguished mathematically only by mole fractions to which they apply. Okay, so again, if you go further, for liquid equilibrium for n species, you can define gamma alpha is equal to, that is the function of all compositions in alpha phase, temperature and pressure, and gamma beta, that is again a function of all composition in beta phase at given temperature and pressure. Okay, so according to this equation already we have seen in previous slide, and above these n equilibrium correlations written in 2n intensive variables, right? And you can say T, temperature, pressure, and n minus 1 independent mole fractions for each phases, right? So solution of equilibrium equations for LLE therefore requires prior satisfaction of numerical values of n intensive variables. So if we apply phase rule for this case, so f is equal to 2 minus pi plus n. So we have phases are 2, right? And if you substitute 2 phases here, so then f is equal to n, number of spaces here, right? So same results is obtained for VLE with no special constraint on equilibrium state. So in general distribution of LLE, any number of spaces may be considered, and pressure may be a significant variable in this case, right? We treat here simpler but important case that binary LLE either at constant pressure or reduced pressure low enough so that the effect of pressure on activity coefficient may be ignored, right? So but one independent mole fraction per phase, we have, you can say, this particular equation, x1 alpha gamma 1 alpha plus equal to x1 beta gamma 1 beta. So therefore for another phase, second component, we have this equation. This is for first component because this is for binary system we are applying, right? So then gamma 1 alpha is a function of x1 alpha and temperature, and gamma 1 beta is a function of x1 beta and temperature. So this is what the equation here. If you continue here, since ln gamma I rather than gamma I is the more natural thermodynamic function, right? Because ln gamma I is a partial properties of G by RT, right? Already we have discussed. That's why this is natural function we are considering here. So we have this particular case, and if you define this in terms of ln, so you will get this particular equation here. That is quite simple here. This is for liquid. See, T greater than this is single phase, T less than TL will be single phase, but in between this we have two phase region. So this is figure A. In figure B, only you can say bidirectional curve intersect the freezing curve. Only you can say upper critical solution temperature exists, and second case you can say bubble point curve, something like that. Okay, that will be lower critical solution temperature. Okay, so these are the two cases again we have seen here. You can say CD represents two liquid phases, and point E represents the vapor phase. Point E represents the vapor phase. That means at this particular point all three phases are in equilibrium. If more of either species is added to the system whose overall composition lies between point C and D, and if three-phase equilibrium pressure is maintained, the phase rule requires that temperature and the composition of phase be unchanged. However, relative amount of phases adjust themselves to reflect change in overall composition. So here at temperature above T star, the system may be single liquid phase, right? Two phases, vapor liquid, or single vapor phase, right? So this might be vapor liquid or vapor, right? So this is possible here. In region alpha, okay, a system is single liquid rich in species 2. In region beta, it is rich in species 1. Then in region alpha V, the vapor and liquid are in equilibrium. Alpha V, this vapor and liquid are in equilibrium. The state of individual phases falls as line AC and AE. AC here and AE, right? That is bubble point and dew point curve here. In region BV, liquid and vapor phases described by BD and BE. This is BE and you can say BD. Finally, in vapor region, that is V, it is single vapor, what we have here. Below the three-phase temperature T star, right? This is three-phase temperature here. All three phases are in equilibrium here. The system is entirely liquid with feature described in liquid-liquid equilibrium section, that is LLE. So this is something like LLE, upper critical solution temperature, like that only, right? Here we have single phase, here we have single phase. This is the only two-phase region, right? Then when vapor is cooled at constant pressure, where pressure is kept constant, no doubt, it follows the path represented in figure by vertical line. So these are the vertical line 1, 2, 3, right? So in such cases, you can say if one start at point K here, right, and start cooling this, it will first reach to bubble dew point curve here. This is dew point, right? At line B, on this line B, you will get dew point here, and again if you decrease, it will get bubble point here, right? And again if you decrease the temperature, it will start condensation and you will get only beta phase here, right? Same process if you taken from point number n's, right? So condensation will occur at point E only, right, as soon as you reach at T star, because all three phases are in equilibrium here. Again, if then condensation occurs entirely at this particular temperature, producing two liquid phases here, right, represented by C and D. These are the two liquid phases what is happening because of cooling by this path. So one starts, suppose at intermediate point here M, right, what will happen? So it will give, after this is bubble point here, sorry, dew point curve, then you will get liquid and vapor mixture here, right? Okay, and again if you decrease, you will be along line BD, right? Okay, so this is what we are getting here. So after this you will get lead to two phase region here. Here it is a single phase, but here it is a two phase region after this. So this is what we have. This is at constant temperature what we have. You have a CG, you can say C and G. This is, you can say, one organic phase, and this is DH, that is for another aqueous phase. After this we have single phase, here also single phase. This is your two phase region. It is just like your liquid equilibrium diagram, right? But if we apply this at different pressure, as pressure increases, this region, what you can say, this two phase region goes on decreasing. Here also again it will decrease, here also again it will decrease, and finally it will disappear, right? So this is the locus of azeotrope where all three phases will have same composition here, here also, right? So this is the effect of pressure, what you can say, right? So this, right? So this is all about, you can say, vapor liquid equilibrium from the topic phase equilibria, right? Topics in phase equilibrium. One more topic is there, just you can go through from Smith-Vannes, that is solid liquid equilibrium, and just have a note on that. You just study it properly, right? So this is all about from, you can say, phase equilibria topic here. Thank you.